Hey, good morning and welcome to
כל מי שלומד תוירה, עובדו דקודשו בריחו. Very nice. Baruch Hashem. איזה יופי. Wow, דף כ"ט.
You know, today is Parshas B'Shalach, right? You know, Parshas B'Shalach, what is the thing called? For Parnasa? What is that?
פרשת המן.
Parshas Haman. So, מה אתה אומר על זה?
שיהיה בהצלחה לכולם. השירות גדולה, בעזרת השם.
למה קוראים? Why we say Parshas Haman? Why we say Parshas Haman? Because we need to believe, we need to see that everything from Shamayim. It's not like Tehillim. You say Tehillim like it's very good to say Tehillim, very good to say.
Let me ask you a question. Yesh li sheila. I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you get? Is it more of a haftacha, like a bel parnasa b'shvil amira Parshas Haman, or b'shvil l'shmoa l'shir shali? Ma ta choshev?
עיין מסכת עבודה זרה.
אם אתה לומד תורה עם מי?
So the Gemara in מסכת עבודה זרה said in דף י"ט
Yeah, what does it say?
that עמוד ב' that מי שקובע כל יום לימוד תורה ואז הולך לעבוד, הוא יצליח הרבה יותר, הוא יצליח בפרנסה שלו. כן? ככה כתוב בגמרא בעבודה זרה דף י"ט עמוד ב', תסתכל בפנים. אז לכן אני אומר שוודאי שמי שיהיה בשיעור כל יום ישמע שיעור, זה ודאי יהיה לו סייעתא דשמיא הרבה יותר מלומר פרשת המן, בטוח.
וגם הגמרא אומר שצריך אדם ללמוד מה שליבו חפץ, כן?
כן, זה גם שם.
ורש"י שם אומר, מה שליבו חפץ זה שיר של בן ציון לנג.
יפה!
זה הרש"י שם. שדברי תורה. We have to do a good dance. Let's do a good dance. What's a good dance we could do? What's a good dance? No, let's kick a little bit.
על הכתפיים, על הכתפיים.
Put me on your shoulders. Collect my socks.
איזה גרביים,
Like a sunshine.
Oh, sunshine.
כולם להיות בשיעור של רבן ציון, לא לפספס.
מי שמפספס זה פספוס שלו.
הם אמרו אליי, בכמה שנים אני אהיה השיר
הכי גדול.
המפורסם בעולם.
הכי גדול, אתם תסתכלו על זה עוד כמה שנים, בדיוק על זה, על השיעור הזה, אתם תצחקו היום, עוד 10 שנים, מיליוני... לא, זה כבר גדול הדור עוד 10 שנים. אנחנו מדברים על עוד 3 שנים, מיליון צפיות כל יום. כל יום.
הם הסתכלו על השיר הזה, look at this year. It's the famous year where David and Tamar predicted, my friends, they said, this is going to be the biggest year in the world. They're Nevi'im. He's a Navi.
אני גם
Nevi'im. Nevi'im. All right. You had it here first. Watch this year. 3 years from now. The biggest year in the world.
אמן. בעזרת השם. אפילו פחות.
Even less. All right. So get in early. You know, the stocks, you got to get in early. Sheer also, you got to get in early. All right. Let's go on. Fine, so the Gemara on the bottom, start here. Today is Daf Lamed, Daf 30, a number in Megillah. The Gemara says on the bottom, Amar Yitzchak Nafcha Itmar, the second last line, Chalios Bos Ve'atat Tzaveh, if Parsha Shkolim falls on Atat Tzaveh, which is the Parsha before Kisis, Amar Yitzchak Nafcha Karu Shisa Me'atat Tzaveh. 6 aliyahs are from the Parsha Atat Tzaveh ad Kisisa until the beginning of Parsha Kisisa. V'chad Kisisa ad Ve'asisa, because it's Parsha Shkolim. So you start Kisisa, which is the same thing as Parsha Shkolim. Hamar Abaye, that was Yitzchak Nafcha. Hamar Abaye, Daf Lamed Aleph, Amri Ukmehu dekam ukme hasab. No one's going to realize it's Parsha Shkolim. They're going to say he just left off there, and V'atat Tzaveh is a longer Parsha. Ela Amar Abaye Karashisa V'atat Tzaveh Ad V'asisa. 6 people read from V'atat Tzaveh until the end of Parsha Shkolim. And one repeats it. He goes back and he repeats Parsha Shkolim. Meisivei, the Maris Bryce has a question. Chali has a Parsha Smuchala. If Parsha Shkolim falls out on the Parsha next to it, whether it's before or after, you read it and you repeat it. Bishlam Labai makes sense. Nicha, this Bryce makes sense. Elder Yizchanafka Kasha, because it says you read it and you repeat it. So in this case, when V'atat Tzaveh is the Parsha Shkolim, so you read Kisisa once and then you read it again. According to Yizchanafka, doesn't make sense. Then where's the Abaye? Abaye is, it makes sense. Teinach lefanel makes sense. V'atat Tzaveh falls out in Parsha Shkolim. But if it's the Parsha after Kisisa, I think it's Vayakel, you're not going to have Kofla. What do you say? Kofla b'Shabbos doesn't mean that you repeat on the same Shabbos. It means that Kofla b'Shabbosos you read Kisisa. If it happens, if V'atat Tzaveh preceded Kisisa, you read V'atat Tzaveh and then you read Kisisa, and you read Kisisa the next week. Or if Kisisa, if it's Vayakel, so is the parsha of Kisisa. So you read Kisisa because that's the parsha of the week before, and then you're Vayakel and you add in the Shkolim, the Haftorah, the parsha of Shkolim. So you read Kisisa on 2 consecutive Shabbos. Basos Hakanami Kofla b'Shabbosos Chalios. Let's say Parsha Shkolim falls out in the week of Kisisa itself. You read 6 from after the Parsha of Kisisa, the Parsha of the Shkolim. And the 7th Ola reads from the beginning of the Parsha, from Kisisa until Vasisa Maskla Abaye. Who the Kari Abaye says if you're going to do that, people are going to say you read the Torah backwards. Abaye Karashisa. Ad Vayakel. 6 people read from the beginning of Kisisa until Vayakel. And the 7th Ola repeats it. The Parsha of Shkolim. The Braycha shows Allah is like Abaye Chalios b'Kisisa Atzma Korin Osa v'Koflin Osa. If it falls on Kisisa, you read it and you repeat it afterwards. Chalios b'Socha Shabbos Magdim Shabbos Sha'avra. If it falls in the middle of the Shabbos, you are marked into the Shabbos before it. It's Mar. Rosh Chodesh Adar Shechalios Be'erev Shabbos. Rosh Chodesh Adar falls out on Friday. Rav Magdimin, Rav says, like the seeming implication of the Mishnah, you read Parshas Shkolim the week before. Shmuel says, no, you say Beis Shvat, you say Shkolim. Beis Adar, you say Shkolim. Rav Magdimin, Rav says you read earlier, then came Batzil Hu Yomei Shel Chanos, because even according to Rosh Gamliel, it's supposed to have 2 weeks. And the money change is supposed to come to the provinces on the 15th, so you want to have at least 2 weeks to warn the people about the shulchanos. The money changer is coming to exchange for the half shekel. The Shmuel Amar Ma'achar, and Shmuel says no, we push it off till Beis Adar. What's going to happen? Friday is going to be the 15th of Adar. It's not going to lessen the amount of time you have with the money changers because they're not going to come on Friday. They're going to wait. They're busy with preparations for Shabbos. They're not going to come till Sunday anyway. Hilkach ma'achar, and therefore you can do it afterwards. If Rosh Chodesh Adar falls in the middle of the week, so you read Parsha Shkolim on the previous Shabbos. Mafsikin l'Shabbos acher. This is what it says in the Mishnah, and then you don't have any one of the Daled Parshas to the following Shabbos. My love, afilu be'erev Shabbos. Doesn't mean even if the Rosh Chodesh Adar falls down on Friday. Lo b'socha Shabbos daf. No, daf means b'socha Shabbos from Sunday to Thursday, but Friday is considered Samach Shabbos, almost Shabbos itself. Tashma. Another proof. Ezi Shabbos Rishon Kol Shachal Rosh Chodesh Adar Lios b'socha afilu be'erev Shabbos. The week of Shkolim is where Rosh Chodesh Adar falls in that week. Even if Rosh Chodesh Adar falls on Erev Shabbos, Milo, I feel Erev Shabbos Dumi the Tocha. They're the same thing. Ma Tocha, just like it's Sunday through Thursday, Makdimin, after Erev Shabbos Makdimin, and still too, we would assume Erev Shabbos also you read earlier. Amar Shmuel, what would Shmuel say to that? ba. V'chein tan beishmol ba. He says not the word besocha. It's Ezi Shona Kol Shachar Rosh Chodesh Adar Lios Ba, not Besocha. When Rosh Chodesh Adar falls on Shabbos, and then you read Vafil Erev Shabbos, even on Erev Shabbos, then you read on that week, on that Shabbos, or even the Erev Shabbos, you would delay it to the next day. Kitana, it's a Malus Tanai. Mesargin l'Shabbos Zira Yehuda Hanasi. Rabbi Elazar Omer Ein Mesargin. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says you skip a Shabbos. Rabbi Elazar says you don't skip. I'm not sure. Rabbi Elazar Ein Masani Omer Ein Mesargin. When do you say you don't skip? Is man shchalios be'erev Shabbos? If it's man shchalios b'socha Shabbos, if it falls out on Friday, then you don't skip. Parsha Shkal is read on Beis Adar, and the next week you read Parsha Zachor. As man shchalios b'socha Shabbos, it falls out Sunday through Thursday. Rosh Chodesh Adar, Maktim Mekarim Shabbos Shavar Al Pi Shvat. Then you would read in Shvat. You would read the week before if it falls out Sunday through Thursday. If Rosh Chodesh Adar falls out Sunday through Thursday. B'Shnia Zachor. The Mishnah says the second week you read Parsha Zachor. Itmar Purim Shechalios Berev Shabbos. Let's say Purim falls out on Friday. Rabbi Mar Magdimit Parsha Zachor. He says you read Parsha Zachor the week before. Shmuel Amar Ma'achar. And Shmuel says he would say on the 15th of Adar. Rabbi Mar Magdimit Kiechid Lo Tikdu Masila Zechira. You have to read it earlier because Zechira, the mentioning of Amalek, which is Parsha Zachor, has to come before the Siyah before Purim. Shmuel Amar Ma'achar. And Shmuel says you could even delay it. Amar L'cha came on the Ika Mukafin the Avdi B'Chamesar. Since you have the walled cities, they celebrate Purim on the 15th. Asiya v'Zechira Bahade Hadade Ka'asyan. Asiya and Zechira fall out on the same day, so you're not, it's not preceding Zechira Asiya, but at least the Zechira falls out on the same day as the Asiya. Tanan Mishniya Zachor. Mishnah says on the second week we Zachor. B'Hakim Mikla Reish Sharcha B'Shabbos. Mikla Purim B'Erev Shabbos. The case of our Mishnah, really, we're talking about where Rosh Chodesh Adar falls out on Shabbos. So if Rosh Chodesh Adar falls out on Shabbos, Purim of Yudal, it falls on Erev Shabbos. It's time B'Shniya Zachor. You see the second week read Zachor. That would be the week before Purim. Amar Rav Papa, my Shniya Lahav Saka. Doesn't mean the Shniya the second week. The Shniya after you skip a week, then it would be the second week after you skip it, you would read Parsha Zachor. It would be the 15th of Adar. Tashma, like Shmuel. Tashma. Ezu Shabbos Shniya Kol Shechal Purim Lios Besocha. What's the second week? Any week where Purim falls in that week. I feel Erev Shabbos, even if Purim falls out on Shabbos. Mile Erev Shabbos Dumi the Tocha, just like Erev Shabbos is similar to falling out Sunday through Thursday. Ma Tocha, if Purim falls out Sunday through Thursday, Makdimin, you read Zachor week before. Af Erev Shabbos Makdimin, so the Erev Shabbos you read the week earlier. Against Shmuel, Amar Shmuel Ba, V'chein Tan Be'er Shmuel Ba. Again, they amend the Girsa of this Brisa, not Besocha, but it's talking about Purim falls out on Shabbos. So then you read it on Shabbos or even on Erev Shabbos, then you would read Parsha Zachor on Ted Vav Adar. Chalios b'Shabbos Atzma. Let's say Purim falls out, Yudalad falls out on Shabbos itself. Even Rav would be moda that you don't read it earlier because at least Yudalad and Ted Vav are both going to have Zechir and Siyah on the same day. Rav Nachman Amar Adayim Rav Nachman says that Rav would also argue here. You'd also read Parsha Zachor the week before it. Bernami Arvchia Baraba Riyachi Amar Rabbi Abba Amar Rav Purim Shchalias b'Shabbos Maktim Mekari b'Shabbos Avra Zachor. Like Rav Nachman, he says Rav would hold if it falls down on Shabbos. Even if it falls down on Shabbos Purim, you read the week earlier Parsha Zachor. B'Shlish is Paraduma. The third week you read Paraduma. Tanar Rabbanan Ezir Shabbos Shlish. What's the third week? Kol Shesmuchal Purim Achareh. The week immediately, the Shabbos immediately after Purim. Itmar. Rabbi Chanina Amar Shabbos and Smuchal Rosh Chodesh Nisan. He argues, seemingly, he says that the time for Parshas Parah is the Shabbos right before Rosh Chodesh Nisan. V'lo pligi. Rabbi says these opinions are not arguing. Had the Ikla Rosh Chodesh Nisan b'Shabbos, had the Ikla b'Emsa Shabbos. Rosh Chodesh Nisan falls out on Shabbos, so then the week before Nisan, like Rabbi Chanina says, then you would read Parshas Parah the week before. But if Rosh Chodesh Nisan falls out in the middle of the week, so then you would not read Parshas Parah. Would not be the week before Rosh Chodesh Nisan. It would be the week after Purim. Revius HaChodesh is Alachem. Revius, you read Parshas HaChodesh. Tanaroban Rosh Chodesh Adar Shchalios b'Shabbos. If Rosh Chodesh Adar falls on Shabbos, Koron Kisisa Maftirim B'Yada. This is a general summary, and you read the Haftarah B'Yada. Ve'ezi Shabbos Yishana. What's the first week? Rosh Chodesh Adar Lios B'Socha. Afilu B'Erev Shabbos. Depends how you read this gear. Says it Bar B'Socha, but you would read it. According to Rav, you would read it the week before Rosh Chodesh Adar, you read Parsha Shkolim, Mishniya Zachor. The second week, the one before Purim, you read Zachor. Maftir Bakoti, and you read the Haftarah of Bakoti, which talks about Amalek. Ezi Shabbos Shnei Kol Shachal Purim, Lios Besocha, Afilu Shabbos. It's the week immediately preceding Purim. B'Shlish is Para. The third week, you read Para Aduma. Maftir and V'Zarak Aleichem. Again, this talks about the Tower of Klal Yisrael Para Aduma, Tower for the Tumas Ameis. Ezi Shabbos Shlishis. What's the third week? Which is the week directly after Purim. Revi'as you read Achodesh Zem of Tir and Komar Hashem Lakim Barishon Be'achad Achodesh talks about the 1st of Nisan. Ve'ezi Shabbos Lamanam Be'ez Ve'ezi Shabbos Revi'as. What's the 4th week? Rosh Chodesh Nisan Lios Besocha. The week immediately preceding Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Ve'afilu Shabbos. Even if Rosh Chodesh Nisan falls on Erev Shabbos, you would read it the week before. The Mishnah says in the 5th week, you go back to the normal order. L'seder Mai, what do you go back to? Ravami Amar L'seder Parshios Choser. Rami holds that Parshas Shkolim, Parshas Zachor, Parshas Para, and Parshas HaChodesh take over the main reading of that Shabbos. And therefore, there's no reading, there's a suspension of all the Parshios. You read those 7 aliyahs from those Parshios yourself. So therefore, the 5th week you go back to reading the normal Seder HaTorah. Rabbi Yirmiyah Amar L'Seder HaTorah Suchozer, like we do. Rabbi Yirmiyah says, really, these are just add-ons, and you never stop the actual parshas in the Torah. You just L'Seder HaTorah Suchozer, the Haftorahs get switched, but on the 5th week you go back to the regular Haftorahs, no special Haftorahs. Amar Haftorahs. Amar Abaye, Kavase de Rabami Mistabra, makes sense. Karami, the son of L'chom, Afsik and Rosh Hashanah, Mechana Kol HaPurim, L'Tani Yosel HaMadol, Sema Kippurim. The end of the Mishnah says you're mafsik for the following days. That you had a suspension of regular Parshios HaTorah. Hainudika Parsha B'chol. If we're talking about Parshios and not just Haftoros, so then it would make sense to Seifa where it talks about Tanios, Hamados, Rosh Chodashim, which talks about laning during the week, right? Because there's no Haftoros. You suspend the Parshios, you read a different Parsha. Is there any Haftorah B'chol? What would the other opinion say? Other opinion of Yirmiyah, what do you say? Hak'isa v'hak'isa. In the beginning, if it's talking about a day with Haftorahs, you go back to the Haftorahs, like the Dalet Parshios, to go back to the Haftorahs. And when we're talking about things that like during the week, then you would go back to the Parshios, the Hafsaka of the Parshios HaTorah. The Sefer of the Mishnah is talking about where there is Hafsaka of the Parshios, and the Dalet Parshios, we're talking about Hafsaka of the Haftorahs. Tana is Lamali Hafsaka. Why on Tani, on a Tainus, is there Hafsaka? Why is there a suspension of the regular reading of the Sefer Torah, Monday and Thursday, of reading the Sefer Torah? In the morning, they should read, on Monday and Thursday, the regular Torah laning for that week, according to the Parshas HaTorah. Mincha, Tanesa, they should read about the Tainus, the laning for a Tainus at Mincha. Misayeh Leila Rav Huna, the Gemara says, this must be proof for Rav Huna. Damar Rav Huna Misafra Kinufa. On a fast day, the whole morning, there's a gathering, a public gathering together. Heichi Misafra Kinufa. Heichi Avdina. What do we do? Amar Abai Misafra Lapal Gidim Amayina B'mili Demasa. The whole morning until noon, they're spent. There's a gathering, and the seaboard, the congregation, tries to figure out what sins the community did. Paga the Yomi Lapanya Riva, from half of the day to 3/4 of the day, Kara Umeftari, then they read the Parsha, the Parsha of Tainus, and they have the Haftorah. Riva the Yoma Bo Rachame. The 4th portion of the day, they have Rachamim, they dive into Hashem Shnemar, V'yikru B'Sefer Torah Hashem Elokim, Revi'as Hayom. A quarter of the day, they read the Parsha of Tainus, or Revi'as Hayom, Misvad Mishtachavim. And a quarter of the day, they admit their sins and they prostrate themselves in tefillah. But Epoch Ana say that the first half of the day, the 2 quarters of the day, are during the morning. Lo Sakadaita L'Siv. Ve'ela Yasav Kol Chari B'Dvarai Elokei Yisrael Me'al HaGola Ani Yoshev Mishom Ad L'Minchas Erev V'Chsiv Minchas Erev Kamti Mitanisai. The end of the pasuk talks about he got up from his fast, about Ezra got up from his fast and he dived into Hashem. So you see that the second half of the day is a time for tefillah. And the first half, the Asfu Kol Chare, that's talking about the morning where they gather together to find out what community sins they have to fix. The Mishnah says, Pesach Kar and Parshas Moados. this mission is going to talk about what you read during various Yom Tovim, what portions of the Torah. You read Parshas Moados in the middle of Parshas Emor, Shal Torah's Kohanim. In Vayikra Batzeres on Shavuos, Shiva Shavuos, you read the Parsha of Shiva Shavuos. Rosh Hashanah, which talks about the counting of Svira. Rosh Hashanah B'chodesh HaShvi, B'echad LaChodesh. On Rosh Hashanah, you read B'chodesh HaShvi, which is in Bamidbar. Yom Kippurim, Acharei Mos, Yom Kippurim. You read the Parsha of Acharei Mos, which deals with the Avodah Yom Kippurim. Yom Rishon Chag, again on the first day of Sukkot, Korin or Parshas Moados, like we do on Pesach. You read the Parshas Moados, first Yom Tov of Sukkot. Shabbat Kohan. Rashar Kol Yemos HaChag, the rest of the days, the Karbanos HaChag, you read about the different Karbanos HaChag that the Purim went down from 13 to 12 to 10, all the way to 7. Chanukah, and Nesiyim, Chanukah, all 8 days you read about the Parsha Nesiyim, when they gave their donations in Parshas Naso. The Purim, Vayavo Amalek. Purim you read Vayavo Amalek, which is in Parsha, which is in Sefer Shmos, Rosh Chadashim, over Rosh Chadshechem, Rosh Chodesh, you read Rosh Chadshechem. This is part of the reading that we do in Parshas Pinchas, Mamados, Ma'aseh Bereshis, Mamados. They read from the beginning of the Torah, Ma'aseh Bereshis, Tanios, top of Lamed Aleph, Man Aleph, Brachos, Klolos. Finish the Mishnah, Brachos, Klolos. They would read the Brachos and Klolos in the Torah, Yikra or in Dvarim. Eim Afsikim L'Klolos. Allah is when you say the Klolos, you read from the beginning to the end, one aliyah. Ela echad koreh as kulan, and one person reads all of them. You don't stop in the middle. B'shenim chamishi b'Shabbos, the mincha koren gesidra, Monday and Thursday, and Shabbos and mincha. There's 3 aliyahs. You read like a seder of that week, but the upcoming parsha of that week on Shabbos. These aliyahs on Monday, Thursday, and Shabbos and mincha don't count towards the 7 aliyahs they're going to read on the following Shabbos. Shenemar is going a proof for all of these things, the whole Mishnah. Israel. Moshe spoke Mo'adeh Hashem. Mo'adeh means appropriate times. Al Bnei Israel. Sounds like he spoke to them about the appropriate times, on the appropriate times. Mitzvah and Shekon Kol Echad Ve'echad Bismano, that on the day when the festival falls out, you speak about that festival on that day. Mo'adeh, learn that from Mo'adeh Hashem. On those appointed times, what's appointed about them, then you have to read the parsha of that time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's shir, and we'll see you tomorrow.